Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin, with the Sunshine State Investments team and LPT Realty. As always, friends, bringing you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. Today, we have an amazing topic, and I know that there's multiple times, so I don't want any of my listeners to think I'm a liar, that I say I'm super pumped about a show. It's super great. Normally, I can get like 2 out of the 3, and it's a good fit, but today is super sick. It's going to be very legit. I have some people that drove a very long way to be here, actually one person that flew here. And today, friends, we're going to talk all about business systems. So systems in an organization, and we're going to apply that to life, business, and real estate. We're going to talk about some customer service items, definitely dive deep into lead gen, because when you find out one of the people that's on the show, he is very, very savvy in that area. We're going to talk about adapting to change and shifting your mindset, and especially in the real estate market right now where everything seems so shifted and disoriented. We're going to talk about how you keep your head in the game. 3 amazing people on the show today. Vivian Savadira. Did I say that correct, Ms. Viv?
Saavedra, but that's okay.
Okay, she says it all nice and it's Puerto Rican, correct?
It's Colombian.
Colombian. Yeah, see, so now she's going to try to make fun of me and compete with me. I'm a white girl. I said Savadera. How do you say it?
Saavedra.
Okay, see, I love that. Vivian and I have known each other forever. She covers the entire Central Florida area, currently residing in Orlando. However, she is from Chicago. So we have one guy that's a little outnumbered today with all the Illinois people here, but she is amazing, great in the real estate industry, super amazing human being. So we're definitely going to dive deep into what you have going on, Miss Viv.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I've been in the field 3 years now. I ironically was a realtor about 20 years ago. I'm feeling it now. It's a good place for me to be in my life. I'm enjoying it. It's not by far not easy, but certainly handing those keys over make a world of a difference to me.
Well, that's just because you're amazing. You've just the biggest heart.
So
we'll talk later with Viv about what she's doing currently, and we're definitely going to dive deep with her about customer service on this segment. William Daly, amazing LPT agent. This guy is he says that I'm his spirit animal, but I think that the role is totally reversed. This guy is high energy, but I'm going to be really honest and probably sound a little cocky right now that I don't like conversating with a lot of people unless it's high level intelligence conversations. And I could stay on the phone with William for hours because he is a genius in multiple areas on the back end processes just of running a team. He's actually with the Locals Group, which he claims that that's the Fun Coast. I guess that's Volusia to Palm Coast, but I think he made that up. But he's with the Fun Coast. So what's going on, William?
Oh, I'm just happy to be here. You are my spirit animal. There is a Fun Coast, and I'm probably on the list to be abducted by aliens with that intellectual intro like that. But thank you very much. I'm stoked to be here.
I love that. I can't wait to dive deep with you. Definitely in segment 2, I have some really great questions for you. So I know that you'll drop some super gems today. And then I also have Langston Pates. He actually spoke at our Invest Tour. He's with Team Relocation. He spoke with a lot of the agents last time on how he partners with realtors and real estate groups as a moving company to generate leads and throw things back and forth. So he has overcome so many things in his life. He's also been my best friend for 20 years, and he knows the real estate game in and out, as he's also an investor and bought his first investment property with 0 money down. So lots of gems for all the LPT agents listening, coming from Langston, or anyone out there thinking about jumping into the real estate game. So what's going on, Langston?
And I'm so happy to be back in Florida, guys. Thank you for having me. Speaking of overcoming obstacles, Walt Disney World with babies and strollers and grandmothers and electric scooters has been a heck of a trip. So I'm excited to be here, guys.
Yeah, so there's those things in life where they say you do them for the first and last time. So you accomplished the mission, right?
Accomplished the mission.
And now you just check that off the list, and then we just move it to the left.
Bucket list is checked off.
Love that. So Langston's here visiting. We're going to be meeting up with some people from the tour actually after this. We did not end up doing the tour in Orlando. However, we are rescheduling, and we all have things happen. So it's just super awesome to have you guys here. Diving deep into business systems. So I always throw this out. Don't be afraid to be the victim. All my listeners know, none of them know the topics. So if I had to say to you, William, give me the definition of a system, what would you say?
Well, system's going to be, no matter what it is in business, something that's going to make the job or the result that you want as a business owner easier, systematically, right? To be able to, whether it's management of a sale or it's management of your finances, but those systems that you put in place give you the results that you need in order to operate.
I love that. So actually, I always write down the Wikipedia definition so we can kind of just all vibe with that too. A system is a set of activities laid out as a series of steps that will accomplish a specific goal. So I love the word systematic, though, that Will just used. That did not come to my mind, so that's pretty awesome. In business, everyone has to have systems and processes to create efficiency, be able to scale, and do all of those great things. One of the things that has to be a part of your system is customer service. So, Langston, you run a moving company.
Yes.
And you have a lot of employees that are really people that may have simply graduated high school, that are labor type employees, yet you have to provide the best customer service when someone is moving. Explain.
Yes. One of the hardest things is maintaining a high level of customer service while performing a manual labor job. It's pretty easy when the guys show up in the morning. They're all fresh. Everybody's, ready to go, smiles on their face. But, after 9 hours of moving furniture, a difficult customer, a realtor in the bank, and the closing time, sneaking up on you, the guys, they can get a little frustrated. They can start to lose that smile on their face, and they just start to fall apart sometimes. So I try to keep them together. I try to keep them motivated and keep them working hard.
And so, Vivian, we know in a real estate transaction, even working with someone like Langston, the moving company, how do we keep it together when we have title and lender and mover and all of these people and appraisal and this and that to still provide good customer service to our clients?
Your mindset is everything. You start in the morning with a positive mindset, and you have to do whatever you can to maintain that. That's everything. Keeping a smile on the face makes a world of difference. If you can demonstrate to all your crowd, your people that you're working with at that moment, that you can manage to maintain yourself grounded, secured, it provides a sense of peace. I hear that often with my clients when they speak with me. Just calm, cool.
You just have a peaceful tone, though.
I'll let
See, I wasn't
my
blessed.
husband agrees.
And then, William, I kind of want to come to you because when I really think about customer service, to me, it's a level of support, right? We are also providing a solution to a problem.
Right.
So in our industry, especially being a team lead, you're providing a solution to people's problems, or you're solving a need or want for them. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, for customer service, giving somebody the ability to be able to purchase a home in our line, the industry that we're in right now. And, I think what happens is complacency when you're in the positions of these customer services, that you forget what the job truly entails. And with us, I do think that a lot of times in real estate, in all of the different levels that we have, whether it's title, the sales, direct sales itself, I think we lose sometimes we forget that it's an asset, and sometimes the largest asset in somebody's history of purchasing or spending money. And even though the price point of these purchases sometimes may not be what we would want, whether it's the medium price point or when you get spoiled on your couple $1 million listing sales and you tap into maybe a luxury market, and then you start to kind of forget that these people that you have as both buyers and sellers are still just humans, right? So you have to kind of remember to adjust your own mindset to what level of human they are, what level of education, finances, or just way of life that they choose to live in and thrive. Because Lord knows that when you walk into my mother's house, it's going to be a lot more cleanly than in my own, because I'm an operating family with children. So, and then as far as on a team level, yeah, I mean, keeping people aligned, there's something that I think is in real estate, the anxiety of real estate, and it goes on both the customers as well as the realtor. And if a realtor is, let's say, for instance, financially strapped, they're a newer realtor, they've spent a lot of money on getting their license in the first place, maybe taking the test a couple times, and then now they have to spend the money on the board or whatever it is, their level of anxiety during a transaction is going to be different than somebody that has a little bit more production under their belt or has spent a little bit more time in the game, that they have money set aside.
Well, you can't give them all the gems, dude, right now. So
No. Well,
you can't give them all that. You have to give them your phone number, though.
Well,
if someone wants to contact you, give them your phone number so they can contact you.
So if you want to contact me, you can hit my direct line, 954-249-2129.
Langston, Team Relocation, moving company. If you're an agent that wants to connect with a moving company and know how he generates leads and business in that for both parties, how could someone contact you?
Absolutely. 309-445-0663.
And Miss Vivian, if someone wants to contact you, LPT agent, Central Florida, how do they do that?
772-332-9318.
After the break, a little more customer service and lead generation. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
The best comp plans ever and stock and revenue share, but if we're not closing real estate transactions, all of that is worthless, because ultimately everything starts with a real estate transaction, which starts with a consumer. And so we wanted to arm our agents with the absolute best technology and best marketing tools to do more real estate. And that's, again, I think a big differentiator. I think very few brokerages really sit down and say, how do we provide tools to make sure that our agents can be more productive, sell more real estate, win more listings, win at more listing appointments, help more buyers find that home, and we're very focused on that. And so while we have the best comp plans and the best ways for agents to generate wealth and earn, we also have the best tools, and more importantly, I would say have the best tools to help you be successful in real estate.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin. Happy weekend. Obviously, I'm with the Sunshine State Investments team and LPT Realty. Show is sponsored and powered by Robert Palmer, LPT Realty, the fastest growing brokerage in the country. We are happy to be here with you this weekend. Again, we want to thank all of our religious listeners. We have so many people that listen every single weekend. 102.5 The Bone, we love you. So we're here diving into business systems with Vivian, William, and Langston, two amazing LPT agents, a guy that partners with tons of realtors and owns a moving company as our special guest. So again, in the first segment, we touched a little bit on customer service. We are going to tie in, because these guests had a lot to say, obviously. So we're going to tie in some lead generation. And so whether you are a business owner or in real estate or just a regular entrepreneur, everybody has to generate leads. And I want to talk to these guys about that today. So Langston, I'll come back to you for a second, because I know on a previous show you talked about no marketing spending at all. So do you have a Google page?
Still no Google page.
Okay.
Calendar is full, no Google page.
Right. And you spend how much money on marketing?
$0.
Okay. So interesting today that we are talking about customer service and now going into lead gen, because William, I, and Vivian are going to have a whole different outlook outside of you. Talk about why you don't really spend money on marketing, and then also tie in the realtor piece for any agents listening and how you correlate with them as well.
Absolutely. For me, the best lead generator is myself and my guys' work ethic. We believe that we are the best on any given day at what we do, and it trickles out. People feel that. And our motto, it's funny, we mentioned peace in the first segment, is we deliver peace of mind. Our goal on a day where this is like a wedding day, someone's purchasing their new home, yeah. You're on a journey with them to their new home. This should be a day that they remember forever. And it's our goal to make that happen. We just happen to bring all of the furniture with the piece. And so my guys, they go above and beyond. They really don't know the word no. I have taught them that no matter what the customer needs, whatever the realtor needs, we find a way to make it happen and to not stress them out. If that means they need a break, if that means we need to move this chair in the living room so someone has a place to sit down, we do that. And what that creates is word of mouth. I mean, word of mouth is the best lead generator there is. So
well, yeah, I think
people-
that the agents for you then just double back and feed you business, because it's like they know that if someone has to be moved out by a certain date, if you have to rearrange your schedule, if you get to the closing table and someone's not ready, that you're going to accommodate and make it right. And so they're going to use you because that is part, right, Vivian and William, of the process of getting to the finish line and getting to the closing.
Yeah, absolutely. The relationships with the realtors is definitely what keeps our calendar ticking. We're able to solve a lot of problems for their clients. So not only does it help our business, but it helps them as well. As the realtor, they're able to solve the next problem. Once they choose their house, they have to move. And there's a lot of things that come along with that, a lot of anxiety. And some people won't even put their house on the market because they fear what comes next. And so when some of the realtors can say, listen, we have answers for all of that. Don't worry about that. It takes a lot of stress and creates a lot of peace.
Yeah, being a one-stop shop and providing all the different resources. We've talked about vetting vendors on this show before. I think it's interesting for any entrepreneurs out there thinking about starting a business or jumping into real estate. In anything that you do, if there's a will, there's a way. So again, providing work ethic, creating a good resume for yourself, and obviously providing great customer service gets you free leads. Well, in our market, Viv and William, we're in a little tough market right now, right? We're adapting to a little change, but we have to generate leads not only for our own businesses, but for agents necessarily on our teams. So Vivian, talk a little bit about just what you do like for lead gen right now.
I feel very blessed. I have organic leads. I just work my sphere. I have a New York connection. I lived in New York. I have a Chicago connection. Lived in Chicago, and I've maintained relationships. And I have to be honest with you, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, 1 lead in 2 years. The rest, kind of very similar to Langston. It's been organic, my sphere, friends who want to relocate from those very cold states.
Yeah.
And move to Florida. And you know, if it's not in Orlando, it's in Miami. I have connections in Miami. I have connections in Volusia County. I have connections in Tampa. So,
but I also think you do a very good job of portraying what you do on the internet.
Thank
so
you.
although it's not a paid ad, you're still creating a brand, and brand awareness is important.
I think it's very important. Word that that's resonating with me right now is genuinity. And I think that I have tried to maintain that in my life in general. If I'm having a hard day, Facebook will probably know about it. And if not, they'll know about that too. So
I love that. I love that. I think that creating a brand and also that just shows kind of your level of customer service. That's really awesome. I also think that there's levels to where people want to be kind of in their business. And so like I always tell people, one person's success does not make the other person's success wrong. So, you know, if you want to do X number of deals a month, you have to create X number of conversations. And we had this whole talk, William, yesterday, right? So yesterday, William and I get on the phone, CRM Nazis. It's like battle of the CRM Nazis. And it was like, you know, I tried to get Langston to CRM. You know, Viv, you know, I'm like super into tech. So I just like asked William a question, bro. And it just, that's what I'm saying. He's my spirit animal too. It just launches this whole thing. So very basic, you know, William, just talk to people about, especially from the team perception. I think yesterday we talked about developing different lead platforms,
Right.
streams of leads, let's call it that. And just for the simple factor that since we are in a changing market, and like Robert always says, you prepare for the boom when you're in a bust.
right.
And you prepare for the bust when you're in a boom. So we're doubling down right now, kid, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I love that quote. I actually shared that quote the day that he said that. So I'm glad that you started off with that. But I think really what it comes down to is what you guys are kind of identifying, or you young ladies here, is the psychology of the lead and where that lead comes from, and knowing what you're good at as that lead generator. What is your source? Where do you know the clean water is for the village, right? For you to bring back whatever analogy that you want to kind of put together there. But yeah, trying to be something that you're not never works. So if you have a good area for you to create that sphere in, and that's what everybody uses as a sphere, right? That's the term that everybody refers to. And then it becomes your sphere of influence. So what radius do you have an influence on? And that really is what you should be concentrating your direct effect on. Well, who can you convert out of this? That's
But I also think too that like, so Langston, you do have it easy because your leads are like hot leads. They already know, like, and trust the agent. So then you converting them is pretty much you putting them on the calendar. Like, I love you, but that's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. Like, I'm happy for you, kid. And then, Vivian, you have people that are relocating from another state, but they already know, like, and trust you.
Yes.
And William, we talked about this yesterday. When you are converting a lead, which they're good leads, if someone clicks on a property, they're interested. And if they say, I was just looking, then you should say, well, what are you looking for? Because it's a good lead, right? But we have to then create the bond prior to them knowing anything about our customer service. What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, like having a Jumpman emblem like on a sneaker or something, right? Or clothing. Like everybody knows and recognizes that, right? Whether it's a tattoo, t-shirt, no matter what it is. And everybody knows that brand when they see it. And you just said it a couple seconds ago that the brand recognition is really that's what's important. And it's a combination of both in order to get that conversion. So like you just said, somebody may be interested in doing real estate. They may not be interested in doing real estate with you. So that's why you're not maybe influencing that sphere like you may have thought. And you have to gain the trust from these people to remember spend probably that's the largest purchase possibly in their life. And they really need to make comfort a priority in saying, yes, I trust you at this.
Well, and 2 tips that I want to give before we conclude this segment is 1, confidence, and 2, being an expert. So when you walk into anything and you act confident and you solidify that you're an expert in something, they stop shopping around. When someone walks up to you in a store and says, hey, how can I help you? And they know where something is in aisle 54 of Walmart and all you're trying to do is get out of there and they know this and that, you're not looking to shop and call someone else over to help because you have help in front of you. So when you solidify yourself as an expert and provide good customer service and you have brand recognition, you're just a winner. If somebody wants to communicate with you, Mr. Langston, he also does moves all the way from Chicago to Florida. So if you are in any of that space relocating there, if you're in any agent that has connections, such as Vivian, in all these other areas, Langston is definitely someone to connect with to help you continue and be a great asset to the piece of your real estate transaction. What are those digits?
309-445-0663.
William Daly, lead gen guy, chime guy, team guy. I love this guy. William, how does someone connect with you?
Find me on any of the social media platforms, the Locals Group, Agent Advantages, phone number 954-249-2129.
And Miss Vivian,
Yes,
Central
darling.
Florida, just amazing human. We'll dive deep into her life and adapting to change in the next segment. Give out those digits, Viv.
772-332-9318.
And we are going to come right back after the break, and we are going to talk about when the goals changes and there are new patterns in the market, how we adapt to change. We'll catch you after the commercial break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin, Sunshine State Investments team, and powered by LPT Realty. Happy to be bringing you, as always, the raw and real of life, business, and, of course, real estate. Talking all things business systems today. We are applying that to all different aspects. And of course, on segment 3, adapting to change. So definitely when you have new goals or new patterns in the market, you have to adapt to change. So you can have a concrete system and process, but if you're not willing to take a look at that and reevaluate, just throwing this out there, kids, the definition of insanity is repeating the same behavior and expecting to get different results. So we're going to talk to these guys about adapting to change, and not only in business, in real estate, but of course in life as well. Shout out to Maria Black, who I know is also in Florida and was going to be in the studio today, Langston's mom. Definitely missing you, but I see you watching on Facebook. And of course, if you guys have missed segments 1 and 2, do not forget to go to our LPT Radio All-Stars Facebook page. We are just about to drop like 69 episodes, all YouTube links. We've perfected them. We've edited them. We want everyone to be able to watch the reruns. So if you did miss segments 1 and 2 today, again, check us out, LPT All Star Radio Show Facebook page, and you can see all of the content there. Vivian and William, two amazing LPT realtors, are on the show today. One, William Daly in the locals group, and he's on the Fun Coast. Again, I'm still thinking that is like made up, but he claims it's Volusia County all the way to Palm Coast, so we'll give it to him, Fun Coast. And then Vivian, and I'm going to say this as Colombian as I can, Saavedra. Is that good? I did the little R. She is in Central Florida. I tried, dude. They're laughing at me now and making fun of me, but I really tried. It couldn't be as bad as when I had three amazing Spanish-speaking ladies sit down in the studio about 3 weeks ago and say, this whole show is in Spanish, right? And I said, absolutely not. And they said, well, we were told that. I said, well, you're absolutely lying to because I don't speak. So, yeah, I did good at that. Vivian's awesome. Been in the industry about 3 years. She's in Central Florida, again, with LPT. And Langston Pates, all the way here from Chicago. Team relocation. He does moves all across the country, partners with tons of realtors. He's always dropping gems for you guys. So, adapting to change. We're going to talk a little bit about life, business, and then, of course, real estate. Definitely going to kick it off with the real estate. And I'm going to come to you, William, with just the factor that obviously we talked about customer service, lead gen, and systems. But when the market shifts, you have to shift, right? Yeah. So you have to adapt to the change. So what has been one of the biggest changes that you have made in any of those aspects as we have continued to be in a super seller's market in Florida? And obviously, we are definitely in a recession. We are fighting inflation with inflation. What's the biggest change that you've had to make in your business?
I mean, acceptance, really, right? I mean, you have to accept things aren't what they're going to be at one time that you had them. And because of my history, one of the things that from the fire department, when I came from that life and that kind of that industry, we had a saying in EMS was always treat the patient, not the monitor, right? So you really want to treat the results and not what you're really hearing from all the media, maybe peers, and maybe some other industry leaders that could be giving you information that maybe once worked when they applied it, but really, you really want to follow the trends that you're identifying as they're happening and seeing if you can maybe stay in front of those in whatever ways you can. I think, honestly, acceptance, though, and having your mind open to others and getting feedback from them and being willing to still be taught no matter how long you've been in this industry.
I love that. And I definitely think too, it's like our goals change when like the market changes. You know, for me right now, it's like I look at what Jennifer and I are doing with the Sunshine State team. And it's like, hey, 17 transactions is great. But in this market, if we're closing 9, we are winning. You know what I mean? So like celebrating those little wins and jumping those little hurdles. I'm like, hey man, if you can, and I love what Robert said last Motivational Monday, if you are in a positive state in this business today, then when the boom hits, you're good to go, right? So Viv, I'm coming to you. You've had to adapt to change a lot in your life.
I have.
And so I know you as a mom, I know you as a grandma, but I also know that you have your grandson with you.
I do.
And how old is he now?
He is 14.
Okay. And so in your whole life, your kids are older.
Yes.
Then you started over.
And we started over, yes.
And you had to adapt to change.
Oh, yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
All over. Well, we are raising our grandson, Aaron. I want to give him a little shout out so when he hears this. We acquired him when he was about 14. We got him when he was about 4. And yeah, it's been like starting all over again, and adapting to change has been rather easy for my husband and I because he's been in hospitality. So we've moved often. Certainly, this is very different. Raising a little human in this day and age right now isn't the easiest, but you make it work.
Yeah, and speak to all the parents out there because you raise kids. I mean, how old are your kids now?
My daughter's 36 and our son is 32.
So you raise kids in an entirely different space?
Yep. I'm with Langston.
Right.
I think.
Yes. So talk about just to all the parents out there and anyone that's really having to adapt to change. You're also a business owner. So you had to make a complete shift and adapt to change in your life, and just talk about what that's like in the world today.
So I feel very blessed to be able to be a realtor because I have to adjust to my grandson's schedule, something that wasn't common with my own children. So I feel, again, blessed that I can, when they need me at school, I can be there. I have the flexibility in my schedule. It is challenging, we do go with it. We do ride with it. The market's not easy, but again, it's acceptance. It's going to be good and it's going to be bad, and you have to ride with both. And one of the things that I've heard that I have just run with that is be great at what you're good at.
Well, and if anyone can do it, if you can be in basically a bust and be, number one, as attractive as you are, Viv.
Aw.
Raising a
Thanks.
14-year-old in this world today, like I'm way younger than you and I couldn't do it. So I love you. I love that.
Thank you.
And coming to you, Mr. Langston. So change has been your entire life.
Every day.
Like every day.
Every day.
So it's funny because on the way here, we were really talking about that and just all of the things that you've literally accomplished in the last 4 years. So one moment where you really had to adapt to change in everything that you've been through. And if you've not watched The Investor, Langston's been through a lot of change in his life. So you're gonna have to rewatch that because I don't have enough minutes, but just change, adapting to change. Talk about that.
Yeah, 4 years ago, you guys, I lived in my mother's basement. I didn't own a car. I made $13 an hour. I'm a felon. I was on parole. I had an ankle monitor on. And while all of this was happening, my credit score was a 482. And then the world was introduced to COVID-19. So I had just all of the things were stacked up against me, but I also had goals and I had perseverance and I had faith, and I just knew that I had to stick to who I was. Being authentic is what got me here, is being myself. There are people that are hard workers, and then there are people that work hard. And the hard worker, he works hard every day, no matter what the condition is. If the sun's shining, we've got ankle socks on, we're in Florida, or we're in Illinois in negative 13-degree weather, he's going to work hard no matter, because that's who he is. So no matter what changes around him, he sticks to himself and what he does and who he is. And that's what's worked for me.
And so what's the credit score now?
My credit score is a 700. I'm still not a homeowner, though. That's kind of what's holding me back. I am an investor, but I purchased my home through my business and I rent from myself. So one of the things that's like holding me back from getting those like top numbers is my mixed portfolio. And
how much real estate do you own?
I own almost $1 million worth of real estate now. So 4 years ago, living in my mother's basement again, shout out Maria Black. And today I own almost $1 million worth of real estate. And my furniture company does 6 figures a year and brought the whole family to Disney World. So guys, been good.
And that whole, just change, just kind of realizing like what you had to do and like making those changes, I think in those moments. We've been through like lots of waves together, but The Investor touched so many people. And I think just the transparency of you telling people about your story. If you look back on 4 years ago and this guy can figure this out with a rap sheet that's not great, and you're sitting at home feeling bad today, then you probably should take a look in the mirror and make a huge adjustment, because there are people out there that can do it. And if you're listening, you can do it as well. So whether it's the real estate game, whether it is just getting your life kind of adjusted into a new system, we want to give everyone out there a shout out of positivity, because you absolutely can. Again, we're going to talk about shifting mindset when we return. Langston, if someone wants to get in touch with you, maybe because they need a mindset shift, could you get your phone number out?
Absolutely. 309-445-0663.
And William Daly, again, I think he's my spirit animal, but could you give your phone number out, please, William?
954-249-2129.
And Miss Vivian, could you give him your phone number?
772-332-9318.
All things business systems today. Do not forget to download that iHeartRadio app and pop in those earbuds. You're not going to want to miss the shifting mindset. Catch us after the break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I'm your host, Betsy Tinervin. And today, friends, if you have missed segments 1, 2, and 3, we have talked all things business systems and just adapting to change and providing good customer service and generating leads. And now we're going to drop some serious nuggets on shifting mindset, especially in this crazy real estate market that we're in. This is not an easy business to be in. Thank you to LPT Realty for supporting all of their realtors, providing them with top-notch marketing, radio, TV, billboards, all of the things. In this type of market, you have to have a mindset that's unstoppable. And even in life right now, you know, on the break, we were just saying people that legitimately would not even qualify income-wise to be considered homeless now in this recession and milk and gas and all these things costing crazy amounts of money, they're legitimately not able to pay rent. They're not able to get a place. We had tons of people that got evicted during COVID. And so just having the mindset shift, and no matter what you're trying to do, especially entrepreneurs, I kind of wanted to throw this out to everybody as I was preparing for the show and just taking notes. To me, like shifting mindset, one of the things that I read that I loved is owning your own power. So no matter what's happening around you, you're still providing value to others and you're owning your own power. So I'm not sure if I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to unleash the beast with these three. And I don't think I'm going to ask them a direct question. I'm just going to let them talk. So if I have to be a little harsh with one of them, listeners, don't get upset with me because they all have a lot to say. So let's really talk to people about that, whether it's an entrepreneur mindset or a life mindset. But really, I just want to repeat that it's just owning your own power no matter what is going on kind of around you, and just really being able to provide value to other people. So Viv, I'm unleashing the beast.
There. That's it right there, owning your power. You have to surround yourself with people with your same mindset, and you have to know how to distance yourself from people that don't have it. That's just cut, clear, dry. Maybe not cutting people off completely, but you have to also know how to put that distance up. If you have a goal, you can attain it. Just 5 people surrounding you who have a successful mindset. Look, I've said it to you before. When I grow up, I want to be like Betsy. You know, I
Viv does say that to me.
But it's true. It's the mindset. You know, what you feed your brain, what you feed your body, what you're watching. I haven't watched the news in years. Me
neither.
You know, it's sad. It's very depressing, and it's not always accurate. So some of us forget that and we get lost in that. And it's really key and important. Who you surround yourself with is going to make a world of difference of what you're going to become, what you're going to be, period.
And this market is tough, right? The real estate industry especially, you know that I'm like not a part of like all these female groups and I don't feel like we're disadvantaged, but the real estate game in general is cutthroat.
It is.
Like have thick skin, save your tears for your pillow at home. Like when something happens, like the last thing we can do is like make things fall apart. So in today's world, in that mindset, how are you just moving forward and having that mindset?
So I mentioned 20 years ago being a realtor. It might have been a little bit more than that. Part of the reason why I left was I was young, immature, and it was cutthroat, and I was scared. I'm not scared anymore. Bring it. I'm just not scared anymore.
Viv said, mic drop. That's what she said. She said, and that was it. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. And I think that, you know, when it comes to a shifting mindset, I think what's really hard too, and William, I'll definitely like turn to you, is when you have to keep like your mindset in check, because then you're also leading other people. I think it's really key when Jennifer and I have conversations. We have 45 agents that feed their families with our real estate team. So it's not just about like what's good for me and what I need to do, but I got to wake up for myself, and then I got to wake up for all these other people that rely on me. So anything that you want to discuss, you know, really just owning your own power no matter what's happening around you, whether it's life, business, or real estate.
Wait, so first, you guys get to sleep?
No,
I do.
I don't sleep a lot.
So, no, I think both of you kind of did just touch on it. I mean, it's like, again, my firefighter background and growing up around that, it really, you know, it helped with a lot of this kind of focus because, you know, that's kind of like the whole point of working a fire scene, right? Is we're the people that you call when the fire is in the building. So we have to really be good at calming you if you're in this scene or your worst day or whatever it is. And real estate can become that, or just being an entrepreneur itself. There's a lot of things that we don't control. And when you focus on the things that you don't control, you exhaust your resources, right? So you really do need to focus on, you can't let the chaos make you lose your focus. You have to stay honed in on whatever your goal and your vision that you have, follow that path. and don't let all that other stuff around you. There's a really good saying that I like of the squirrel that collects the nuts before the harsh storm, right? No matter what's in front of the squirrel, it goes back and forth to the nest, collecting the nuts. And it makes itself vulnerable every time it puts itself out into the forest, but it knows it needs to do that if it's going to make it through that harsh winter, right? That's life. There's going to be ups and downs. Business is definitely a finite thing. There's nothing definitive about business, especially sales. So enjoy it while you're on top. And when you're getting knocked down, just figure out the best way to get brushed off and jump right back into it. Stay
so
focused.
Basically, Vivian, he said that we better be collecting a lot of nuts right now.
I heard that.
Like you better go get all the nuts and bring them right back and hoard all the nuts too. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna tell Jennifer we got 45 people to feed, so we better go get a lot of nuts in this market. I love that. That was a really great definition. And so again, just refreshing that. I think one of the things, Langston, that has not necessarily been touched on, but feel free to talk about what you want. But like owning your own power when no matter what's going on around you, but providing the value to people, right? Because to me, it's like in this market, COVID weeded out a lot of amateur entrepreneurs because they just couldn't make it. And so when you follow Robert Palmer's advice and you prepare for the boom when you're in the bust, and vice versa, if you right now provide so much value and you solve people's problems, it's like you just can't be replaced type situation. And I think you've talked about that before, but you can talk about anything you want.
Yeah, I moved a guy's house about a month ago, and we did such a good job. He called me back last week and asked me if I knew anybody that could pressure wash his deck. And I'm like, I'm a furniture mover, you know? And he's like, but you guys just did so well, and so on and so forth. So for me, overcoming my own personal fears of self-worth and the way the world saw me and the way other people viewed me. And I was so deathly afraid of the word no, of being told no. And so I do like to share, the story of, moving out of my mother's house. When I tried to lease an apartment, I had the credit score and I had 12 months rent up front, and I was told no. And it was because I was a felon, and they didn't accept people with, drug backgrounds. And so I immediately made a shift in mindset. I no longer even wanted to rent. Like, they put such a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, when do I get to live this down? When have I served my time? I decided to become a homeowner, and I created an LLC, and I told you guys I now own $1 million worth of property in real estate. But the kicker is I went back and hired that same property management company that told me no. And now they manage my portfolio. They work for me. They answer the phone when the toilet's clogged. They make sure the money is in my account. They make sure I have tenants.
Big facts.
And so for me, it's just being able to change the narrative, not being afraid of the word no, taking a no, turning it into a yes, and then extending that yes even further.
And I think that the craziest part about that story is that, so in Illinois, it's a lot different. For us to have $1 million real estate portfolio in Florida includes a couple shacks, right? Well, in Illinois, it's different where he lives. So they have like 10 single family homes. And so it's a pretty large portfolio that they have, him and his partner. And so having that company be able to now service that, the truth is though, a no that we think is like so shady and wrong ends up impacting us in such a positive way. And I remember being an intern at the state's attorney's office, and one of the girls gave me like not a good review. And she's one of my best friends now. I reference her to everything. She said I became the best intern. But in that moment, it gave me a sour taste in my mouth because it's not what I wanted to hear in that moment. And so I think that when you shift your mindset, remember, just like William Daley said, always be a student of the game. Like Langston said, always provide value. And like Vivian said, be able to adapt to change in every single thing that you do. If someone wants to contact you, Langston, and maybe needs a mindset shift or needs to be told no or wants to know about moving, throw out your phone number.
Yeah, my phone number is 309-445-0663. I also want you guys to keep a lookout for my book, Intent to Deliver. It drops this summer. So we'll have more on the Invest Tour website.
Yes, that's awesome. And the Invest Tour is theinvesttour.org. Theinvesttour.org. And William Daley, could you please give everyone your phone number?
Yes, my phone number is 954-249-2129. And if you're looking for a children's book, check out my wife's My Tiny Pet Elephant.
I love that. And William is on the Fun Coast. You're looking for an LPT agent, definitely reach out to him. And Vivian Saavedra.
For God's sake.
What is your phone number?
Saavedra.
Saavedra.
What is your phone number?
772-332-9318.
If you're interested in our first-time homebuyer class, you can reach out to me at 813-609-0229, and we will catch you next weekend.